I never thought life could be this perfect. Every morning, I wake up to sunlight spilling across our bedroom, Clara beside me, smiling like the world owes her nothing but joy. "Morning, sleepyhead," she whispers, brushing a strand of hair from my forehead. I grin. "Morning, beautiful. Did you sleep well?" "Better now," she teases, nuzzling closer. I laugh and pull her into a hug. Moments like this made all the noise outside our little bubble fade away. Downstairs, the aroma of fresh coffee greets me. My parents are in the kitchen, humming along to some old song. "Good morning, son," my father says, handing me a cup. His smile always feels like home. "Good morning, Mom." My mother beams. "Clara, honey, you slept well?" "I did," Clara replies, her tone bright, almost too bright. She sets the table with practiced perfection, and I can't help but admire her. She's the dream wife everyone envies. "Everything ready for your meeting today?" Dad asks. I nod, taking a sip of coffee. "Yeah. Big presentation, but I'm ready." "You'll do amazing," Mom says, squeezing my shoulder. I glance at Clara, expecting a smile or a word of encouragement, but she just smirks. "I'm sure you'll be fine. If you don't embarrass yourself." I blink. "Excuse me." I laugh nervously, trying to shake it off. She waves a hand dismissively. "I'm joking, don't take it seriously." I force a smile. "Right, hilarious." Inside, a little pang of unease hits me, but I push it aside. Maybe she's just tired. Later, as we sit for breakfast, Clara's gaze lingers on my parents a moment too long. "You two are interesting," she says casually. My mother laughs. "Interesting? We've been married 50 years, dear. That's what makes life interesting." Clara tilts her head, a smirk playing on her lips. "I suppose. I just don't see why people cling to old traditions so much." My father frowns slightly. "Traditions keep families together, Clara." She shrugs, sipping her tea like it's nothing. "If you say so. Personally, I think people are happier when they stop pretending." I chuckle awkwardly, trying to diffuse the tension. "Clara, you're hilarious. Always keeping us on our toes." She smiles, but it doesn't reach her eyes. I laugh, too, but a small chill crawls up my spine. Something about that comment feels sharp. For now, I brush it off. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. After all, everything else seems perfect. Right. The night started like any other family gathering. Laughter, wine, the smell of roasted chicken filling the room. I watched my parents beam, proud as ever, as Clara chatted with everyone. I was about to relax when I noticed her whispering something to her friend, Vanessa. "What did you just say?" I asked casually, but Clara just smirked. "Oh, nothing," she replied, tilting her head. "Just a little observation." Vanessa laughed softly, eyes glinting. Honestly, she's right. It's amusing. I frowned, sensing the tension. Before I could intervene, Clara leaned toward my parents and said, loud enough for a few people to hear, "You know, it's cute how you cling to old-fashioned ideas. But it makes you look desperate." I froze. My mother's hands trembled slightly, clutching her napkin. Dad's face tightened, but he didn't speak. My heart twisted. "Clara, what are you talking about?" I asked, forcing calm. "Just making an observation," she said sweetly, but her eyes were sharp. "It's natural for some people to fear change, isn't it?" I felt my stomach drop. "Mom, Dad, are you okay?" Mom forced a smile. "We're fine, dear. Fine," I muttered under my breath. I wanted to scream at Clara, but I held back. My parents didn't deserve a scene. After a pause, I whispered to Clara, "That was cruel. Why say something like that?" "Oh, come on. I'm just being honest," she replied, twirling a strand of hair. "If you're offended, maybe your family needs to toughen up." I clenched my fists under the table. "That's not honesty, it's humiliation." Vanessa chimed in, laughing softly. "She's just blunt. Don't take it personally." I looked at my parents. Dad's jaw was tight, Mom's eyes glistened with unshed tears. I hated that I couldn't fix it immediately. My mind raced. How could I have loved someone capable of this? Clara, I said, my voice steadier than I felt, you can't talk to them like that. They raised me. They deserve respect. Her smile didn't falter. I respect them enough to tell the truth. That's more than most people do. I stared at her, disbelief burning in my chest. Truth? You call belittling them the truth? She shrugged. Perspective, darling. You should try seeing it my way. I swallowed hard, my anger and guilt twisting inside me. I loved her, I still do, but I couldn't ignore this. Not now. As the laughter and chatter continued around us, I sat in silence, watching the cold smirk on her face and the quiet heartbreak in my parents' eyes. My perfect illusion shattered, leaving me trapped between love and fury. I can't stop replaying that night in my mind. Clara's words echo over and over, sharp and cold. It's cute how you cling to old-fashioned ideas. It makes you look desperate. My parents' silence, the tremble in Mom's hands, it haunts me. I pace my apartment, running a hand through my hair. I can't believe I married someone capable of this. My chest tightens, guilt and helplessness twisting together. I reach for my phone and call Jake. Hey man, I mutter when he answers. Hey, you sound off. What happened? His voice is steady, grounding. I sigh. It's Clara. She humiliated my parents. In front of everyone. Jake's silence stretches, then he says firmly, that's not okay. Not even a little. How did they take it? Quietly, I whisper, guilt thick in my throat. They didn't say anything. Dad looked crushed. Mom's hands were shaking. I couldn't do anything in the moment. You should have spoken up, Jake says. Not later. Not after. Right there. If you loved them, you protect them. I bite my lip. I tried, but she's so sharp, so manipulative. I froze. I don't know what to do now. Jake chuckles softly. You're meandering. Stand up for your parents. Stand up for yourself. If you don't, you'll regret it forever. I run a hand over my face. I love her, Jake. I really do. But this isn't love. Not if it hurts them. Exactly, he says. Love doesn't humiliate. Don't confuse her cruelty with honesty. Don't let her break you, or your family. I sit down on the couch, silence stretching between us. I feel trapped, I admit. I can't just leave her, not yet. But I can't ignore this either. Then don't ignore it, Jake replies. You have choices. Act smart, act decisive. Your parents deserve that much. I end the call and sit with my thoughts, replaying small moments from my childhood, my parents' quiet sacrifices, their unwavering support. I remember Dad helping me with late-night homework, Mom staying up to nurse me through fever. How could I let someone like Clara disrespect them like that? Later, they come into the living room, carrying mugs of tea. Thought you might like some, Mom says softly. She sits beside me, her hand brushing mine. Everything okay, honey? I swallow. Yeah, I'm fine. I force a smile, but she sees through it. Dad joins us, settling in with his usual calm. Son, remember, we trust you to do what's right. I nod, swallowing the lump in my throat. Their warmth contrasts sharply with Clara's coldness, making my anger and guilt even sharper. I clutch the mug, letting the heat calm me. I don't know how to handle her, I murmur. Mom squeezes my hand. You'll know. Trust yourself. I close my eyes, imagining Clara's smirk fading. I'll find a way to protect my parents, I vow silently. I don't know how yet, but I will. The torment isn't gone, it's simmering, waiting, but for the first time, I feel a spark of resolve amidst the pain. We were at a small gathering at my friend's apartment, just a casual evening with friends and coworkers. I thought it would be easy, light-hearted. I didn't expect Clara to strike so openly. So, these are your parents? She asked, loud enough for everyone to hear, as my mother poured drinks. Yes, Clara, these are my parents, I said, forcing calm. Clara laughed lightly. Wow, they're something. I didn't realize people could be that old-fashioned and stubborn. The room fell quiet for a moment. I felt every eye on us. My stomach twisted as Mom's hand trembled slightly on the glass. Dad's jaw clenched. "Clara, that's enough," I said, my voice tighter than I wanted. "Oh, come on," she replied, smirking. "I'm just pointing out facts. You really need to see what you've been clinging to." I felt rage bubbling, but I stayed seated. I couldn't let her humiliation dominate this room. Not in front of my parents. Facts. Belittling them isn't facts, it's cruel. Vanessa, her friend, giggled nearby. "She's just honest. Don't take it personally." I glanced around. My work colleague, Dan, raised an eyebrow, clearly uncomfortable. That stung more than Clara's words. Even strangers noticed. "Honest?" I asked, voice rising slightly. "Humiliating people you claim to care about is honesty?" Clara leaned back, clearly enjoying the tension. "You're dramatic. I'm just pointing out reality. Some people live in illusions. Your parents clearly do." My father opened his mouth, then paused. Mom looked at me, silently pleading. I clenched my fists under the table. "Enough. Clara," I said, my voice steady, "you will not speak to them like that again. Not here, not anywhere. They are my parents, and they deserve respect." She tilted her head, smirk unshaken. "Respect? They raised a son who lets a wife walk all over him. That's what I see." I felt something snap inside me. The rage, the shame, the helplessness, it all collided. But I didn't lash out. Not yet. I needed a plan. A slow, precise correction of every insult she's thrown. "Clara," I said quietly, leaning in, "you may think this is power, but it's not. I'll show you real strength, real consequences. You'll learn respect, just not in the way you expect." Her eyes flickered briefly, curiosity or doubt, I couldn't tell. "Is that a threat?" I smiled faintly, the calm before a storm. "Call it a promise. For now, enjoy your evening. Watch carefully, because the tide is turning." Clara laughed, but it didn't reach her eyes. Dan shifted uncomfortably, sensing something off between us. Mom touched my arm gently, whispering, "We trust you, son." I nodded, swallowing the heat in my chest. My parents' silent support anchored me. I could feel the gears turning in my mind, strategies forming, calculated moves to regain control, protect them, and teach Clara a lesson she would never forget. The room continued around us, oblivious, laughter and music mingling, but my focus was on the smirk across from me. I'd wait, I'd watch, and when the time came, I'd act. And when I did, nothing would be the same. I couldn't stop thinking about that night. Clara's smirk, my parents' quiet pain, it wouldn't fade. I decided it was time to act, subtly, carefully. Not recklessly, but strategically. "Jake," I said during our lunch break, stirring my coffee, "I don't know if I'm justified in thinking this way, but I can't let her keep hurting them." Jake leaned back. "Son, justified or not, your parents deserve respect. You don't have to scream or fight. Smart moves work better than explosions." "I thought about that," I said. "I'll start with control over things she uses to belittle them. Household decisions, social events, finances. Small, quiet corrections. Nothing obvious." Jake nodded slowly. "That's smart. Invisible power. She won't see it coming until it's too late." At home, I started with the household budget. "Clara, I've looked over our expenses," I said, handing her the revised sheet. "I made some adjustments to ensure we prioritize family needs." She glanced at it, raising an eyebrow. "You're micromanaging." "Relax, we're fine." I smiled faintly, calm on the surface. "I'm ensuring nothing disrupts the family's harmony. Trust me, it's better this way." Clara's lips pressed into a thin line, but she didn't argue further. I let the small victory settle. Later, my parents visited. Mom smiled softly, offering tea. "Everything okay with Clara?" I hesitated. "I'm taking steps to keep things balanced." Quietly. Dad nodded approvingly. "Smart, son. You don't always need to fight head-on. Sometimes, patience and careful action speak louder than anger." Mom reached out, touching my hand. We trust your judgment. Just don't let it consume you. I swallowed. I won't. I just can't stand seeing them hurt anymore. A few days later, Clara tried to control the guest list for a small dinner I was hosting. I think it should just be people I choose, she said, smirking. I leaned back, serene. I've considered that. I want the focus to be on family this time. It's not personal, it's what's best for everyone. Her eyes flickered, suspicion brewing, but she didn't argue. Jake called that night. Feeling better. Better, yes. Stronger, maybe, I said. I'm taking steps quietly, protecting them, asserting control without creating scenes. But every move feels calculated. Almost cold. Jake chuckled. Cold can be necessary. Think of it as justice with finesse. You're protecting them, not hurting anyone unnecessarily. I stared at the ceiling later that night, imagining Clara's frustration when she realizes she's no longer in control. The thought gave me a small, quiet satisfaction. I'm not cruel, I'm strategic. Every move is deliberate. And every move is for them. For my parents, for the dignity they deserve. For the first time in weeks, I slept with a sense of purpose instead of helpless rage. Clara never suspected I was reclaiming control. Every time she smirked, thinking she owned the room, I quietly maneuvered behind the scenes. "Why are you inviting them?" she asked sharply, nodding toward my parents as they arrived at a small work event. "They've been part of our lives," I said casually. "I think it's time people see them for who they really are." Clara rolled her eyes. "Seriously? This is boring. Who cares about parents?" I smiled faintly. "Apparently, everyone here does." My parents greeted co-workers warmly, sharing stories of their own experiences. I watched Clara's expression shift subtly. Her smirk faltered as she realized people were listening, genuinely engaged. "Wow, your father really started that company from scratch," a colleague asked. Dad chuckled. "Yes, and your company's approach reminded me of early days in business." "It's fascinating." Clara leaned toward me, whispering, "Are you seriously letting them steal the spotlight?" I whispered back, calm, "Let them shine. It's long overdue." She huffed. "It's embarrassing. People will think I don't matter." "You matter," I said softly. "But this isn't about you right now." Later, my cousin Max arrived. He glanced at Clara, then at me. "You seem different," he remarked quietly. I shrugged. "I've realized subtlety is better than confrontation." Max smirked. "I like that. Smart moves." Meanwhile, Clara tried to interject at a networking table. "I just think my approach." I interrupted smoothly. "And we appreciate it, Clara. But right now, let my parents talk. They have valuable insights to share." Her cheeks flushed slightly, frustration flickering in her eyes. I stayed calm, sipping my drink, letting her agitation grow without words. After the event, she muttered, "You're enjoying this, aren't you?" "I'm enjoying seeing them respected," I replied. "It's been a long time coming." She glared, then left abruptly, mumbling about obligations elsewhere. I turned to my parents. "They were incredible tonight," I said quietly. Mom smiled, her eyes glistening. "We've waited a long time to be seen this way. Thank you for giving us that chance." Dad patted my shoulder. "Son, your strategy, it's working." I nodded, swallowing the satisfaction. Watching Clara struggle while my parents thrived was gratifying, but I reminded myself, this was about protection, not cruelty. Later, alone, I reflected. Clara's arrogance blinded her, kept her oblivious to my quiet moves. Every gathering, every conversation became a chessboard. I planned each step carefully, letting her stumble while my parents shone naturally. Max's earlier comment echoed in my mind. Smart moves. That's what this was. Justice executed with finesse. And yet, beneath the satisfaction, a flicker of doubt remained. Was this truly right? Or had I become the very manipulator I despised? I shook the thought away. For now, the important part was clear. My parents' dignity came first, and Clara's arrogance would ensure she never forgot that. Clara walked into the room with that usual air of confidence, expecting the evening to go her way. I had already arranged things differently. Subtle changes, nothing she would immediately notice, but enough to shift the balance. "Why are you rearranging the seating?" she asked, eyebrow raised as she glanced at my parents being seated at the head of the table. "I thought they should have the best view tonight," I said lightly. "It's their home as much as ours." Her lips pressed into a thin line. "You're letting them dictate everything?" "I'm letting them be respected," I corrected calmly. "They deserve it, and it's time people noticed." Clara's gaze flicked around, annoyance simmering. "This is ridiculous. I organized this gathering." "And you did," I said. "But I'm making sure it doesn't turn into a stage for belittlement." She opened her mouth, but I continued, glancing at Dad. "Go on, tell the story about your first project. Everyone's interested." Dad hesitated, then began speaking, confidently recounting his early struggles. The guests leaned in, genuinely engaged. I noticed Clara's eyes darting, searching for a way to reclaim attention, but nothing worked. "People actually like listening to them," she muttered, almost to herself. "Yes, Clara," I said quietly, "people respect genuine experience." Vanessa tried to intervene, laughing nervously. "It's fine, Clara. Let them talk." Clara's jaw tightened. "I should be the one everyone remembers." "You will be remembered," I replied evenly. "But not at the expense of hurting those who raised you and me." Her face hardened, but the edge of frustration was visible now. I could see her realizing that I was no longer pliable, no longer the person who would quietly let her dominate every social situation. Later, she cornered me in the kitchen. "Why are you suddenly so firm? You've always let me take the lead." "I'm not letting anyone take the lead at the cost of my family's dignity," I said. "It's that simple." Her smirk wavered, a hint of vulnerability flashing. You're serious." "I've never been more serious," I replied, voice steady. "This isn't about revenge. It's about respect. Something you've forgotten exists." She looked down, twisting a napkin between her hands, her first emotional crack. I didn't gloat, didn't mock. I just watched, letting her come to terms with a truth she had ignored for too long. Returning to the living room, I glanced at my parents. They were smiling, relaxed, happy for the first time in months around her. Mom caught my eye and whispered, "Thank you for this." Dad nodded, proud and calm. "You're finding your own strength, son. That's what counts." I took a deep breath, savoring the moment. Clara's arrogance was still present, but the dynamic had shifted. I was no longer submissive. The balance had tilted. Tonight marked the first step of a careful plan, executed without overt confrontation but with undeniable results. My parents' joy was my victory, and Clara had begun to realize she could no longer control everything. And I felt, for the first time in months, in control. Clara paced the living room, fingers twisting a napkin, eyes darting at every little thing my parents said or did. Her usual confidence was gone, replaced by tension I hadn't seen before. "Why are you doing this?" she demanded, voice tight. "Why are you letting them shine like this?" I sipped my tea, calm, measured. "I'm not doing anything to you, Clara. I'm letting them be seen and respected." She froze, staring at my parents, laughing quietly over a shared story. You're serious. You're actually letting this happen." "Yes," I replied evenly. "And it's about time." Her lips trembled. I don't understand. I control things. I always have. Why now?" I leaned back, watching her unravel. "Control isn't the same as respect. You've forgotten that. My parents deserve it, and I won't let you take it from them." Clara's voice dropped. "I never thought. I didn't expect you to." "You didn't expect me to stand up," I finished for her. "I'm done letting insults slide. That doesn't mean I hate you. It means I protect what matters most." She pressed her hands to her face, eyes glistening. "I didn't think I'd feel humiliated. I thought you'd always let me. I don't know." I remained composed, letting her struggle to grasp reality. The satisfaction I felt wasn't sweet or vengeful. It was quiet, measured, tempered by restraint. Justice, not cruelty. Mom glanced at me and whispered, Thank you for this. It means more than you know. Dad nodded, smiling softly. You're calm, your choices, they've given us dignity. That's all we've ever wanted. Clara's voice shook as she looked at me. Please. I can fix this. I'll change, I swear. Just don't. I'm not punishing you, I said calmly. I'm correcting the imbalance. Actions have consequences, Clara. You'll learn respect naturally, without me forcing it. Her shoulders slumped. I didn't realize. I hurt them so much. I studied her carefully. You did. And you need to accept that. No begging, no manipulation will erase it. But you can change moving forward. Tears ran down her face, and for the first time, I saw vulnerability beneath the arrogance. I didn't gloat. I simply let the moment exist. She had to face herself. I turned back to my parents, their smiles warm, genuine. Their quiet happiness, their subtle victories, were my reward. Watching Clara's panic and regret unfold wasn't satisfaction in cruelty. It was the natural consequence of her choices. I whispered to myself, almost silently, justice doesn't need anger. It only needs truth. Clara sat down, still trembling, and I remained composed, letting her internalize everything she had ignored for too long. For the first time, the balance felt right. The morning started quietly, but I could feel the shift. Clara had been growing tense for days, unaware that her social webs were unraveling quietly around her. Why didn't anyone invite me? She demanded as we entered a brunch with mutual friends. Her voice had that edge of panic now. I stayed calm, sipping my coffee. Perhaps people are prioritizing experiences over appearances. She blinked, incredulous. What do you mean? I glanced at my parents, seated comfortably and smiling genuinely, chatting with friends who had always respected them. I mean they've chosen to spend time with those who value them, not those who manipulate or belittle others. Her lips pressed into a thin line. You're enjoying this, aren't you? I'm enjoying seeing them happy, I said evenly. That's what matters. Vanessa leaned in, whispering, Clara, maybe you should apologize? Clara shook her head. I don't have to apologize. I looked directly at her. No, you don't. You just have to face the consequences of your choices. Her friends exchanged awkward glances, sensing the tension. Some murmured quietly, avoiding eye contact. Clara's social credibility was slipping, piece by piece. I can explain, she stammered, desperation creeping in. I didn't mean. You did, I interrupted calmly. And now you see the natural outcome. Words and actions carry weight. You can't undo what you've done. You can only learn. Her shoulders slumped, panic evident. This isn't fair. Everyone thinks Everyone sees what they need to see, I said. And right now, they see the truth. Your arrogance, your manipulation. And it's reflected in how they respond to you. Clara's hands trembled, twisting her napkin. But I'm your wife. Shouldn't that matter? Yes, I said quietly, but respect and dignity matter more. You've ignored that for too long. My parents caught my gaze. Mom smiled warmly. Seeing them happy, it's the first time in a long while we feel truly respected. Dad nodded. You've handled this with patience and strategy, son. That's the lesson for all of us. I swallowed, letting my calm authority fill the space. Clara's pleas faded into silence, replaced by the quiet realization of her missteps. She finally whispered, almost inaudibly, I never thought I could lose everything like this. You haven't lost everything, I said, measured. You've learned something invaluable. Justice isn't cruelty, it's awareness. And that awareness is your final lesson. Clara's gaze fell, and for the first time, her mask cracked completely. My parents' laughter, their warmth, and their genuine connections with others around them contrasted sharply with her isolation. I felt no joy in seeing her falter. My satisfaction was quiet, composed, measured. The real victory was my parents' happiness, their smiles, their laughter, their dignity restored. And in that quiet, unassuming way, karma had finally found its balance. I sit in the quiet of the living room, watching sunlight fall across my parents' smiling faces. Months of tension, betrayal, and careful maneuvering have led to this calm. Clara's presence is distant now, her arrogance replaced with humility. I've learned the value of patience, strategy, and protecting what matters most. Mom pours tea, glancing at me. You've changed, son. Stronger, calmer, wiser. I nod, sipping slowly. I've had to. Watching them suffer made me realize what really matters. Not anger, not revenge, but dignity, respect, and family. Dad leans back, smiling softly. You've handled everything perfectly. Not everyone would have the restraint to wait, to act subtly instead of reacting blindly. I smile faintly. It wasn't easy. There were moments I wanted to lash out, to prove something immediately. But I realized that controlled actions, quiet strategy, that's true strength. Jake calls earlier that day. So, how's it feeling now? Different, I said. Peaceful. Clara has learned her lesson without me destroying her. My parents are happy, and for once, I can enjoy that without guilt. Jake chuckled. Good. That's the real victory, seeing justice served without losing yourself. Clara approached briefly, head lowered. I'm sorry for everything. I didn't realize the impact of my actions. I nodded, composed. I accept your apology. But my focus isn't punishment, it's ensuring respect and harmony. I won't let past mistakes dictate our future. Her eyes glistened with unshed tears. I never wanted to hurt them. Or you. You didn't, I said quietly. You just lost sight of what mattered. Now, you understand. Mom placed a hand on my shoulder. You've protected us and taught valuable lessons without cruelty. That balance is rare. Dad added, your growth has been remarkable. We're proud of the man you've become. I look around at them, feeling a warmth I haven't felt in months. The anger, the helplessness, and the rage have faded, replaced with clarity. Family matters more than proving a point. Love is powerful, but respect and integrity are stronger. Jake's words echo in my mind. Victory without vengeance is the greatest kind. I smile to myself, finally able to breathe. Clara's humbled, my parents' happiness is intact, and I've grown into a man capable of handling challenges with wisdom, restraint, and courage. Everything feels right, I whisper, mostly to myself. Mom smiles, eyes bright. It is, honey. And it will stay that way, as long as you continue to lead with integrity. Dad chuckles softly. You've learned the hardest lessons without losing yourself. That's true triumph. I take a deep breath, letting the peace settle inside me. I've gained more than just revenge or justice. I've gained wisdom, resilience, and restored family harmony. For the first time in months, I feel truly at peace.